Hi, Bob Bartlett here with the Ubuntu Anglers Network and iFishiBelong, and the host of our podcast series, On the Reel. This podcast is coming to you from eastern Washington State and the ancestral lands of the Spokane Confederated Tribes. For those of you who are not familiar with us, we are a small group of black and brown fly anglers, environmental activists, and educators from across the country and Canada. This podcast is consistent with our mission to make visible folks like us who live the outdoor life. It is an attempt to get real with our guests on matters that mean the most to them as black and brown folks who are environmentalists, educators, and environmental activists. So I'm really excited. I'm always excited to have guests on the show, but I'm really excited to have a chance to hang out with my guest today. My guest today is Analiza del Rosario, and let me just tell you a little bit here. Analiza is, and she's known by some of you, I'm sure, so this is not something new to some. Analiza is a seasoned angler. She's a fly fishing advocate, marketing leader, community builder, known for her bold motto, no bitchin', just fishing, which we will circle back to in a little bit. But anyway, hello, friend.
Hi,
Welcome to the
Bob.
show, Annalisa.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you, Bob.
Uh,
This
this
is
is
great.
really special, and I know this is a tough day for you, so we're going to jump right in. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about some of the topics here that you and I kind of outlined for this particular episode. So let's jump in. So where are you from, and where are your people from, Annalisa? Tell us about that.
I was born in the Philippines.
Hmm.
I moved to the US right after I finished sixth grade. I come from a family of farmers. We actually own a rice farm. So I
Ah,
grew up going to the farm, watching them plow, um, the fields, and it was pretty memorable
yeah.
growing up in the Philippines.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, they harvest the rice. It's super. Uh, I just it was great to be outside and
Hmm.
watch how
Hmm.
they do it. That
Yeah.
was a long time ago. So I've always felt a close connection to the land
Hmm.
and water. My
Hmm.
Filipino roots run deep, and even though I've made my home in California, the values I was raised with hardworking community and a deep respect for nature continue to guide me, especially my fly fishing journey and conservation efforts.
Yeah.
Right now, I live at the foothills of Azusa, California. I'm not sure if you're familiar with
Mm-mm.
it's still considered LA County. It's surrounded by mountains. It's really gorgeous.
Were you affected
Hopefully
by the
one day.
fires in any way?
Yeah.
Mm.
Honestly, I've lived here about 20 years, and we've probably evacuated like 8 times. So it's kind of sad when there's fires. Because we are right here by
Mm-hmm.
the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
We do get affected, and
Mm-hmm.
even more sad to see because the we like I said we the river San Gabriel River runs alongside our community, and like where I go fishing up there, they had to pull some of the fish and move them during the last fire that we had 3 years
Wow.
ago, which was pretty big. They had to move those fish so they can survive, and it's just now finally coming back to where it's kind of fishable.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful,
I'm
it's a
sure.
beautiful place. I call home, close to nature, full of history, and just minutes away from the water. I love it. Being here means I can sneak away and get a quick cast or hike whenever I want to
Uh,
reconnect and recharge. So
that all sounds good. We'll get to the fishing part in a second. So, what do you do when you're not hanging out on a podcast or?
yeah. So
in
what
your
I
daily
do,
routine?
so I love to travel, especially with my family. We're very, very close. So I have two brothers and one sister. They all have kids, and my mom. We're very, very close with my mom. My dad lives in Guam, and they're separated.
Oh,
So we
mm,
take care of my mom because we're closer to, closer. She's like about an hour away from me. She's about to turn 85 years old in
good for her.
September, so we're super excited. We're gonna throw a big party. I'm, you know, I'm planning that right now, so that keeps me busy. We love going on road trips. We love cruising, just like new places, simple moments together. Spending time with the family is a priority that keeps us grounded. As
Sure.
far as work, I've been a marketing professional for over 20 years.
Wow.
Funny enough, I always think marketing is a lot like fishing. So, when I
Mm,
got into fly fishing, I compared it a lot because, you have to understand your audience, just like you have to understand, where
sure.
the fish. It's
Yeah.
like strategy, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one thing that I love. You have to be patient,
Hmm.
observe the patterns, get the cast right. I just feel like it's the same with marketing. You're casting the right message to get, at the right
Hmm.
time to get them to, come to you. I like that natural flow, and they're both
Oh.
creative, very, the strategy is just what I love. And it's a whole lot of heart. I love it.
So do you get to work from home then? You work remote?
Um, yeah, right now I work from home, which is great. It allows me to like kind of take my kids wherever they
Sure.
need to go, if I need to drive them to school. So that has really helped out, you
Hmm.
know.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love the flexibility, right? So
Yeah.
when did you first? Because you mentioned fishing now. When did you first start fishing of any kind? Um, Tell us about that. How did
Yeah.
that all start for you?
I never honestly wanted to go fishing. I work for a desiccant manufacturer, and my boss used to ask me to go fishing with him a lot. And that was around April 2023 when I got started. I was working as a
Hmm.
marketing manager for a desiccant manufacturer, and my boss asked me to build a website to promote his fly fishing guide services. And I told
Oh.
them I know nothing about fly fishing or fishing.
Yeah.
I've never really, gone fishing much. I've been around nature, but not too much, fishing, not the fishing part. Um, so when I told them I need to understand, the audience, I need to
Hmm.
understand your market. So I started watching videos of, you know, people fishing and um, what is it going to take for someone to want to use him as a guide. So I started watching these videos and I kept coming across these breathtaking places where people were fishing, like
Hmm.
rivers, mountain streams that looked like postcards. And I thought, I want to go to these places. I mean, I love to travel, so I'm like, I started thinking, yeah, I'm like, I think I want to take a class. And there was a class at the time at Orvis in Vermont, and we were doing a trade show back to back in New York. And instead of coming home for the weekend, I said, well, let me just go to Vermont, take this class. It was like, I think $500 for the weekend. And he looks at me, he's like, I'm a guide and I teach fly fishing. So he's like, go find us a client in Vermont and I'll take you there and
Oh.
teach you how to fly fish. I was like,
Well,
how am I going to say no to that?
right, right, right.
So so we spent 3 days fishing the Batten Kill,
uh,
and I'm like, seriously, like 8 hour days, and I was not even, I'm like, I don't know if I'm getting hooked or something, but uh, the last, the last cast, I kid you not, the last cast, I hooked on something, but of course my line wasn't really tight, so I got super excited and I was just like pulling and so confused, and I fell in the water, feet were up, and of course I lost the fish.
Mm.
And I think that was enough to get me hooked. That was enough to get me completely hooked in fly fishing. So that was the beginning of my fly fishing journey.
And completely wet.
Yeah,
So-
completely wet. Yeah, seriously.
well, I know, as I mentioned just quickly, we know people in common, and we've known people in common over the time, but this is the first time we've really had a chance to hang out together in this format, anyway. But I know there was someone that was an influence in your life in the Pasadena area that about this fly fishing. You want to share a little bit of that story?
Yes, absolutely. So, when I got really like like I felt so addicted. Like I came
Hmm.
back, um all I could think about is fishing. And like seriously, when you are in love with something,
Mm.
that's all you have time, for,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So I was researching all these clubs, and I was just like, you know, I would go to the Pasadena Casting Club, and I researched there was like Pasadena Casting Club. So that was the closest club to me. It's about 12 miles east or west of me. And I get there, and Carl was sitting there. Carl is one of the first guys that greeted me at the Pasadena Casting Club, and I love him dearly. Carl Crawford.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he, yeah, they said, yeah, I guess to be a member of the Pasadena Casting Club, I need two sponsors to sponsor me to become a member, and he was one of the sponsors that allowed me to become a member. So really, really grateful
Yeah.
to know Carl.
And Carl Crawford is the co-founder of Ubuntu Anglers Network. And so,
Yay.
isn't that something? Small world, especially when
It,
you're
it
us, I think.
it sure is. And you know what's great? I just went fishing by my area over here, my local home water, with Carl and Heather
Hmm.
not too long ago. We did
Hmm.
an event earlier this
Hmm.
year,
Hmm.
and that was amazing. I mean, it was just so much fun dry fly fishing.
Oh
It
boy!
was
Wow. All right. Well, we're
heaven.
we're gonna get to your preferred technique here in a second. So, if you mentioned something about your home water, where do you consider your home waters to be?
Yeah, so I live, like I said, the San Gabriel River
Yeah.
runs along my community, and about 8 miles up from here, up the canyon, is what we call the West Fork. And
Mm.
there's the West Fork and the East Fork, which I fish both sides. And yeah, it's they're wild trout over there in the West Fork. So I think they used to plant a long time ago, but anyway, what we've been catching lately is it's all catch and release on the West Fork, and I love that.
Is is it busy? Is it crowded? Would you say?
Um, so what's crazy about the it does get crowded when it's hot because people just go swimming. But
Oh.
as far as people fishing, it hasn't been really crowded at all. In fact, this weekend, we're gonna be well, I'm hosting a women's outing with Pasadena Casting Club, and we'll have about 10 or 12 ladies. And this is a treat for them because one of the club members actually gave us a key. Normally, you have to hike about, it goes up to 7 miles to the dam, but normally you either ride your bike or you hike. And this time we're given access to the cabin up there where we can actually drive in. So why I say it's a treat because, for, like hiking 5 miles, forget it. I mean, we get maybe 2 miles in, and then we head back. But this time where we get to drive in, I'll be bringing lunch for them and
Oh,
just
you're gonna be
really
spoiled rotten.
just.
Spoiled rotten. You're gonna want to make duplicates of that key, right? So yeah,
I
go
wish
back
I
up
can.
there.
I know.
So
It's tempting, but I wish I can. Yeah, I wish I can. Someone loaned it to me who entrusted it to me, and I would feel too guilty to do that. But yeah,
so
so it is a treat. I do
yeah.
bike it when I go because
Mm,
if I want to get up to the area where not very it's no pressure, it's not getting pressured by people because most people just fish up to the 2 miles. And so
yeah.
yeah, this area, hopefully, everyone will catch a fish on Saturday. I'm super excited to host the ladies. Some of
Mm,
them are new, and
mm.
most of them, I mean, maybe only a couple of people, 3 people, have been there and fished that area. So I'm super excited to take a lot of new ladies in
Well,
this, stretch of the
well,
water.
well, when I come
But
down there, you can take me. That's
huh?
when I come down, you can borrow the key again and
Oh yeah.
take, take me.
I actually bought electric bikes just for that
Oh, well
area.
then, all
So
right.
yeah,
Okay.
I have a couple of electric bikes, so I'll loan you one.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
So speaking of fishing now, what technique is your favorite technique? Some of us are dry fly crazies and other streamer junkies, which I am. But what is your preferred technique and style?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about dry fly all day long. I could do that. It's just so much fun to watch them take it,
Yeah,
right?
sure, of course.
It's yeah, it's just like I go crazy and that's the problem with me when you're fishing with me. I think like I freak out some of the guides that I hire because as soon as I catch a fish, I mean everyone will know, right?
It's
But
no secret.
yeah, it's I think like I learned now to warn people if they haven't fished with me to warn them because I just
Well,
it's such an adrenaline,
sure.
when you're catching fish
Yeah,
and
yeah.
especially when you're dry fly fishing. I mean, I even scream when I can't and the timing isn't there, it's like you you hate yourself because you're asleep on the job. I always say that I'm asleep on the job, but I love dry fly.
uh,
But I mean, second is streamer fishing.
there you
Every
go.
year I use. Well, this year I skipped out because a lot's going on with my son's graduation and his Boy Scout stuff. But I got in with the Utah fly fishers. Heidi Lewis is amazing. I go fishing with them. So I'll fly to Utah and we go fishing the Green River.
Sure.
And sometimes it's like uh, just the streamer fishing is just
Uh,
amazing
uh,
too,
uh, uh.
It's
Yeah,
when you're
yeah.
stripping and you feel it and
Hmm.
it's wow.
Ah, the tug is the drug, man. The tug is the
Ah,
drug. That's what we what we
yes.
say. Well, remind me the next time you're heading up that way because one of our members is a guide in Provo. He lives on the
Oh,
Provo River. Now that's a little ways
yeah.
from the green because once you get to Salt Lake City, you still have a ways to go because you're actually going to Wyoming.
Yes.
Utah likes to claim that no, that's Wyoming. But anyhow, next time you go up here, if you want to do some stream fishing, uh,
Yeah.
I can hook you up with one of our Ubuntu
Oh, that's
allies
good to know
up there.
because yeah, I love it. Like I was doing it for I think 5 years, and and it's just something that I they kept inviting me. Thank God,
Hmm.
because I absolutely love these ladies. It's such a blast.
And the catching's good too. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
so I think I have a fairly clear picture of where you fish when you're home and even when you're in Utah and the species you chase. But I also know that you like saltwater. So
Yeah.
what's your favorite species, and where do you go for your saltwater fishing? But besides the ocean by your house. But
Yeah. So when I also got started, I like I said, I would travel and I would tell my boss, I'm calling a guide. I'm calling a guide. I'm going fishing. So wherever, work took me, I was calling. And so one day we were working in New Orleans and I said, I'm calling a guide. And that was, I think, my first year. And so I call up a guide and I said, I'm not really good. In fact, I don't think I can even cast that far. But will you take me out? And he said yes. And that I swear that year I was like, what was I thinking wanting to go out there? I felt bad because I hooked the guy.
oh no.
And you know how big those flies are?
Yeah.
And they were big. But he was kind. And uh, that year I was like, um, I need to learn how to cast. I need to get to the fish. And so I did. I came back and I improved my casting. And I came back and went redfish. I've been a couple of times. And yeah, just, I think it took me a while to get, when the guide calls out the clock, took me a while to get used to it because I was a little slow when he called 9 o'clock, 100, casting. He's like, not there.
Said no,
Wait.
my clock, not your clock.
He's like, yeah. He's like, at that time the boat has already turned. It's like, okay, you're a little late. So that took a while, but eventually I got it. And so I've been back. I think I've been, I've gone like 3 times, 4 times, but the weather is also a big factor when you're,
Sure.
red fishing. Sometimes, the water's muddy or, it's not visible, the wind. There's so many factors, right?
Hmm.
To sometimes kind of get the fish. But just going after them and, you seeing them drumming towards you
I don't know
and
what that
then
means.
they go,
Explain what that means. Drumming.
well,
I mean,
they
I know what
like,
drumming is, but I don't know who have a fish drums. They don't
I
have
just feel
arms.
like
Yeah.
they just, I just see them. They kind of like start. I feel like they start coming down towards your fly,
Mm.
so you cast a little bit in front of
Mm.
them, and they'll start coming.
Okay.
You see them going after your fly,
Okay.
and I just feel like, oh my gosh, it's it's excitement, and
Yeah.
they're trying to go after your fly and they're going really fast, and you're trying to kind of tease them and stripping fast because they're gonna go chase your fly. I love that. I just think like watching a fish take your fly is
Mm.
just wow. I mean,
Mm.
to me that's a lot of fun. um and then
Yeah.
of course I fish Baja for Dorados, and man, the colors on those are absolutely just gorgeous. They're so vibrant when you get them. Um,
Hmm.
I when I went, and I went with like 10 ladies, and it was a tough day to catch a fish. I remember that. And when we got back, everyone was like, how many fish did you get? And how many, because they barely, like, if they caught one, they were like, yeah, it was really hard. But that day, I caught 10. And
What?
I come back and I was like, everybody's like asking, how many did you get? And I'm like, I caught 10. They're like, you're lying. I was kind of embarrassed to say, I'm like, but I did. And they're like, how did you
Wow.
do that? I said, well, if there was one, I caught it. And it's luck sometimes.
Sure.
I lucked out and I caught, I mean, it was such a blast. I mean, uh, it's, so
So
memorable, hard to forget. And I can't wait to go back.
see, you're getting me all crazy. I'm gonna have to go fishing tomorrow just because you got me all hyped up here I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go all the time. But now that we're talking about it and you're telling stories, I'm like, okay, I've got to go home and get my.
Yeah.
Of course, my gear is
I-
always ready. But well, that's really awesome. I love it. I love hearing stories of people living their best life on the water, whether it's fresh or salt water. Um, okay, let's circle back to the no bitching, just fishing. Would you put some polish on that for us? So people wonder, what is she talking about? What is that? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I go with a lot of women who I like I mentioned, I went with Baja, and you kind of experience different personalities,
Sure,
and
sure,
um and I mean, it's really hard sometimes, like when other people are not having a good day. Sometimes,
sure,
it's hard to not take it out on people, right? So sometimes I do feel bad when people do that. And but it's hard to control others' emotions, and you can only control what you can. So
sure.
I like to kind of ignore a lot of the noise in the background, so people will continue to complain. But um, I just, I like to keep the vibe light
Sure.
and joyful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We want to be out, in we're in a meditative space, and
Hmm.
I want to be out there to recharge.
Sure.
So when I start hearing people complain, I just I want to like kind of tone it down a little bit, and kind of, because it takes away from other people's experience, not just me,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
Especially when you're a group of people.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so that's kind of why I always say, let's just keep fishing. Because I don't want to entertain all the bitching. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna fish with me. I know you're gonna have fun, because I'm not gonna do that.
Right,
So
right, right.
um, I
Yep.
like to kind of remind people,
Hmm.
uh,
I am totally with you. I just want to
that
hear
not
your
not to do
version
that.
of that because I think the same way. And sometimes I can get in that space, right? I remember walking into a place that I really wanted to fish, and I had some friends with me, and there was someone swimming in the hole that I was wanting to take them to because I know there's big fish there. And I kind of went down a negative road for a while. Like, why was you? But they helped me get over it. But I understand what you're talking about. The vibe is the vibe, and you want to keep that going. Uh,
Yeah, the
it's
vibe, and and sometimes, like, and I don't like not giving people second chances, and sometimes I know like certain people are gonna be in that negative space, but they're gonna end up going, because I want to include everybody.
sure, sure.
And so I always try to already know some of that's going to happen. So it's
Hmm.
kind of like maneuvering things, and also making sure that that the person already knows. So um, there's the expectations is set, and
Sure.
I try to like mitigate it as much as I can, make sure that you know and sometimes you already kind of know direction, because based on their vibes. So just talking to people and making sure. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's tough sometimes,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
juggling or kind of
Hmm.
taking care of that. But I think I like to I like to always get that mission in front of people, like, hey, we're trying to get more women to fish. So and I'll try to partner people a little bit better, knowing like sometimes different personalities, who's going to clash, so try to kind of work those out ahead of time.
Sure.
But sometimes you don't know, because they're new, and you kind of don't know. um but yeah, I mean, and then that's when you kind of just remind people,
Yeah.
okay,
We're here to have fun.
let's not ruin it for other
R-
people,
Right,
you
right,
know?
right, right. So that kind of leads right into the next thing. You have a lot I know you have a lot going on. Do you have a particular fly fishing mission? And I think you've partly answered that, but can you elaborate on
Yeah.
that a little bit?
Yeah, I think when I started fly fishing, it was not easy to get started because one, there were not, I mean, believe it or not, 2013, it doesn't seem that long. It was really what, 12 years ago
Give or
when I
take, yeah,
started fly
yeah,
fishing,
yeah.
but back then it was really hard to find women to go fishing with. That's when I was actually grateful to have an incoming president at Pasadena Casting Club to be a woman. Her name is Leanne Swanson. She's now the the Southwest Council Fly Fishing Federation or Fly Fishing International president.
Oh,
So
okay.
I love her. She's always there to help out. She's a casting instructor. She's always there, like willing to teach people how to cast. So she's been like a great mentor. Um, so it was really difficult back then trying to find more women. So at one point, I wanted to, I hired a guy to get a few women to get us started. And I'm fortunate now that there's a lot of free classes. And I'm one of I volunteered to teach women how to fly fish. Um, and I love seeing more women now because back then I had to pay. I paid twice just to get some women. I paid two guys just to get us out to teach some of the women to go fly fishing. So I had people that I knew that can go fly fishing with me. And so I made it a mission for me to, make it available, teach, get more women involved. So, um, again, I can go fishing with them. And so I encourage people, call me up, if you need to go, you want to go fishing, just call me. I'll go fish with you. So that I've left that open. So if I meet someone, connect with me, message me. Yeah, I love taking people out. That is my mission is to really get more women engaged in fly fishing through education, get the, community going. So with Pasadena Casting Club as the new, I'm the women's program chair, and I've got like plans, we're putting together casting classes. We're going to do some fly tying night. And then every month we've got outings. So I'm super excited to get everyone out fishing. So you'll
See,
start seeing more women fly fishing.
yeah, yeah. Well, absolutely. And that's one question I have about that, though. Have you had any luck? I guess would be the right word, luck, in
Mhm.
finding black and brown women who are interested in fly angling? Have you had any luck at that?
You know what? We've got some actually. I know, um, in my circle, there's a lot more. You're seeing more, brown, black and brown, more colored, getting into fly fishing, and so I'm super excited about that because it's very intimidating.
Hmm.
Like what I experienced when I was new, it was very intimidating going to these clubs, and people would look at me like, you know, is she lost? Is she, looking for a husband?
Oh, I love that
Uh,
one. Looking for a husband. She must be here looking for a husband. That's awesome.
yeah, and one of the guy I was at a fly fishing fair, and he told me, well, I said I would go in, and they would just look at me like, is she lost? And he's like, well, we've had some women come in the club, and they would come in all geared up, and once they found a husband or a boyfriend, and you'd never see them again. And I was
Really?
like, that's not what I'm here for. I'm really here to learn. I'm here to. So it
Oh boy.
honestly took me a while to like. I would go to these what I would go to these what do you call these meetings and they would just keep seeing me like this lady again. I would just go to every event, every
Uh,
weekend, whatever, at a fly shop or whatever event they had, I would show up. And before you know it, they started seeing me catching fish and they started taking me seriously. So, but, you know, it's, it's just really tough getting started with fly fishing because it's so expensive, right? The other day I was messaging Orvis because some of the women that I met with end of we had a meet and greet in Pasadena and they were messaging me saying, what do I need? And a lot of times I would tell them, first, let's go out fishing. If you need gear, I'll loan you because I don't want you to spend all this money
yeah.
and
Hmm.
then you're like, I don't like it. I mean, I really want them to enjoy and fall in love with it because I know if they fall in love with it, they're going to be your customers for life. I mean, I'm a customer for life. I keep going and buying all this gear um because, I've fallen in love with fly fishing. It's part of me now. And so a friend of mine came and she was like, "Oh my God, I spent so much money." I kind of felt bad. I was like, okay, what do you need? I'll loan you some stuff. So she came by the house and I loaned her some stuff, but she got her waders and I was really happy that she made that investment. So
Hmm.
what, one at a time. I do want more women, and they'll make these investment
Hmm.
eventually, but I want them to have access to
Yeah.
things and feel like like they can feel comfortable coming and
Sure.
so I'll teach. I was teaching when we did the meet and greet. I had a bunch of volunteers come help me teach them how to cast, which was great. And like set up, how do you tie your fly, how do you uh, tie your leader, things like that. So just getting them comfortable. I want
Yeah.
them to
Yeah.
feel comfortable first, and then
Hmm.
they can go out, so they can, have the confidence and go out there.
Hmm. Yeah. One of the goals that, well, not a goal, it's what we do. Ubuntu Fly Anglers do everything free, and classes that we offer, they're free. The virtual education classes are free or donation based. And and when we work with young people, we're getting there slowly because we're trying to build a closet full of rods and combos rigged up and ready so that ultimately when we teach a class of young people, particularly young people, that we don't say, well, you had a good time, right? And they go, yeah, okay, bye-bye. And we take everything back. I've always thought that was a little bit of a criminal act, right? You get someone excited about something, and then whatever they learn to use or got familiar with somehow, you take it back. You expect this young person to go out and spend $125 or however much amount of money on fly gear. That's really being uh, an
It,
optimist, right? So our one of our things is hopefully to link up with outfits, whoever they are, that do have affordable combo outfits ready to fish that we can gift to people when we're not. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's
I
really
think
what
that,
we like to
yeah.
do.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, I know I volunteer for the Mayfly. We do that once they graduate, which I think it's so cool for the
Hmm.
kids
Hmm.
to,
Yeah.
now they can go on their own after
Now they
their
can go.
fifth. I think we do 5 sessions with them, which
Hmm.
is super cool to see them like really gain their confidence,
Yeah.
where they can actually start getting fish. Yeah, so I like doing that for women too. So
Mm-hmm.
when they get started, the other day, one of the ladies that came, she's like, well, I don't, she's like, I want to learn how to cast, but I kind of don't feel comfortable just like coming to a club where just like, it's just so hard to um, be comfortable and I don't know anybody. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, you know what? Knowing that, ladies feel that way, I want to start, having a day where you just come, I'll be there. So it's more familiar faces where they can feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. Like, "Oh, I know that person." So I want to get that class set up. But with
Yeah.
goals, I talked to the president. I said, look, I really think like, I think Long Beach Casting Club, they do this. And one of my friend, and he just sent the program to me. I said, okay, let's just start. They do like bronze, silver, and gold, and each one have like 5 things that you got to learn to get to that bronze.
Oh.
I said, I just want to start there. It's a starting point. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to get it started in July where, okay, ladies, let's get our bronze ticked off and, get that, just that. And by Christmas, typically the fly shop, it's called Fisherman Spot. They come out and they do castaways, and I'm already thinking like come December when we do castaways, the ladies are gonna have, hopefully by then they'll have their gold,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
certificate or whatever we'll call it, right? They'll have it, so then they can test out all these different rods and maybe they'll decide, okay, I like this rod and I'm going to buy it. So, that type of thing where there's goals that we're
Yeah.
reaching, not just,
Oh,
we're going
that
to come here.
that's
So,
that sounds good. Yeah. You're making me want to come down and join you. That's
oh my gosh,
which,
you have to.
I would love to come down and hook up with you and Lino and Carl and go have a good time. Maybe fish the LA River or something.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so, so, we're almost out of time here, but I want us to finish off with this piece, if you may. And I need to read it because there's a lot here. And I said already, you're doing a lot. So you've been featured as the fly fishing expert on Storage Wars,
Oh
right?
my gosh, that was
Uh,
fun.
uh, you've appeared in the L.A. River documentary Rivers of Angels.
Oh,
You've even uh, graced the June and July issue of Fly Fisherman magazine.
I
Which,
know,
do you
that
have
was
a
so
copy close
cool.
by? I'd like to see that. I think I have the
Yeah.
magazine at home, but I'll have to check you out. Uh-oh.
Yeah, no, I'm super proud of that. And the guy who wrote the article, that
Was that
Mark.
Mark Fritt? Mark Fritt that you.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So
He wrote
so
the article? Oh,
you
uh,
have to get that.
I just talked to him yesterday.
So yeah, that's what
uh,
got us featured in the Fisher magazine. And I love, so he Mark is writing a book, and
yeah.
one day was calling people because he's writing a book about urban fishing. And I think you know I think he might have gotten the name from Heather. So, he reached out to me and I said, yeah, I'd love to take you fishing, show you where we hang out. And I just I love that he got to see what we're all about,
Yes.
true
Yes.
community.
Yes.
And that magazine, that article, it really shows like we have a really good community down here and we are all willing to help each other. And
Hmm.
especially like if somebody comes and they haven't caught a carp and they want to catch it, we're there, we're cheering for that person. It's like it's like honestly, Lino, I mean all the local fly anglers here, we just love seeing them like catch that fish and that look and that face and the feeling they get. To us, I mean, it's magical. It's
Yeah.
something
Well,
that we love doing for people.
sure.
I know some people get very territorial about, a specific spot. I think for like, LA River, you can fit more people. And, just for me, I know it took me like 3 years to catch my first carp. And having somebody who's just there, I can't always hire a guide.
Right.
I don't always have the money. And when I can, I will. Like, I'm gonna be going to Montana with like 10 women in October. We hired guides. And so, when we can, we will, but there's just certain times we can't,
Sure.
we
Hmm.
we don't always
Yeah.
have the money. And, meeting up at a local, um, like lake, river, I mean, it's just kind of nice to have people that you're not alone, you're not doing,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's nice to share that experience with someone.
Yeah. Whether it's
And
in the city, whether it's on the LA River, or whether it's in some remote area. You mentioned Montana in October. Where are you going specifically?
so it's the big the blue sky. I'm like blanking out right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Particular
we're gonna fly into Billings, and we're
Billings.
gonna go to what's the big sky? Or
Well, you're going to
what
fly
is
into Bozeman.
Oh,
Bo.
we're gonna fly into Bozeman.
Okay, and you're
And
coming to Big Sky.
is it Bozeman or Bill? Like, I
Well,
think we're flying.
Bozeman is near Big Sky, and that's the
Yeah,
Gallatin River.
yeah.
Bozeman.
So yeah, so yeah, you might know. So we're going with you. You probably know his name is Mike. You know, Mike Peters. He's gonna
Of
be
course, I know Mike Peters. Well,
yeah.
what?
So
No, I
Mike,
say that like, of course I know Mike's black, right? Of course I know Mike Peters, but
I love Mike.
my,
So
Mike's leading this expedition, and he,
yeah,
that's
so I
crazy
love
because he
Mike.
didn't tell me that. I just talked to him the other
Oh,
day.
you
What's that? These
know? Oh
brothers
my
keeping secrets. I don't know what's going on
goodness.
here.
Yeah. So I told Mike. I said, yeah, Mike, sign me up. I'm gonna get 10 ladies to your event. So I love putting together these events. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's yeah,
yeah.
it's so
That's
exciting. I'm so excited.
well,
So
well.
yeah.
You just need to know that our youngest daughter lives in Bozeman, her and her husband, and I have two grandchildren in Bozeman,
Oh
and
wow.
they were married at Big Sky, uh,
Oh wow.
so
Cool.
that's a place that obviously I frequent, and she's a fly angler as well, and she's a part
Oh
of
wow.
Ubuntu. Um,
Okay.
just so
I
you
can't
know,
wait to meet
and
her.
and Mike, I did a podcast with Mike actually.
Did you?
Yeah, yeah, Long Branch
I
Fly
love
Fishing,
Mike.
Long Branch Fly
Yeah.
Fishing, and I'd like to connect with him again on something else. So, well, that's awesome. Well, there's another, and you mentioned this already, but one other thing you mentioned, you're also the chair of the Pasadena Casting Club Women's
Yes.
Program, officially called,
Yep.
um, and you're also the recipient. I have it right here in front of me of the Ralph Van Wagner Outstanding Service Award in 2016. What was that about?
Yeah, so actually when I got that award, I was so surprised because I had no clue at all. I was just there to
Well,
attend the event, right? But like I said, when Pasadena Casting Club was one of the clubs that, I joined. And I wanted to volunteer and wanted to help. And
mm-hmm,
so
mm-hmm.
at that time, the outgoing president, his name is Dennis, he's like, well, I really want to get this newsletter. They print it out every month. I really want to convert it into digital. Is that something you can help? I'm like, absolutely. I mean, I do that. With companies that I work for, I do newsletters. And so they wanted to save money to print the newsletter every month. It was costing them $7,000, or he said over $7,000. And
Wow.
so I started creating the template, work with the editor, and yeah, just started sending it out. It took a couple of months to overlap where we did prints and the digital newsletter.
Mhm.
But after that, it really was a success. It took off. And yeah, so I did it until December of 2019. And at, the 2016 holiday party, I was, having a great time. They were doing the award. It was an awards night, and they called my name. I was like, what? So it was such a great surprise. And,
Yeah.
I love that I was recognized for the service,
Mhm.
really the volunteer work that I did for the newsletter. So I thought that was really, really nice.
Well, you are an amazing human being, and I've
Oh, thank
been looking
you.
forward to getting to know you better. And
Thank you.
I think we just scratched the surface because I want to pick your brain on so many things at another time, right when we have it. But I really appreciate you taking the time out, and I know what a special day this is. I think you mentioned your son's graduation today from high school.
Yeah.
My
Oh
goodness.
my God.
What?
And
Don't cry. Don't cry. No, I'm
I
just
wanted
kidding.
to.
Go ahead.
Honestly, I
Go
wanted
ahead and cry. It's okay. But that's so cool. We have 4 children that we watch do that now. They've all went to college and gone on to do that. It is amazing. So congratulations, Mom, on that achievement as
thank you
well
so
as
much.
everything
Yeah.
else. You're just an amazing, amazing person. So,
Oh,
well, I'm going to let you have the final thought or final word here. Anything you'd like, one last thing you'd like to pass on to the listeners and the viewers before we go?
I just first I want to thank you for having me here today.
It's
It's
my
been
pleasure.
great just talking to you, getting to know you. Yeah, come down, please come down, fish with me. I want to come up and fish with you,
Well,
actually.
yes.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
um,
Uh,
I just think like fly fishing has given me so much, the community, so much joy, so much purpose. I
mhm.
do hope more women of color can feel inspired to, step into space and know that there's room for them too. I'm here, I
Yes.
want to help. Please connect with me. Just reach out. I'll take you out fishing. I'll loan you some gear. We'll have a good time. So I want to keep building,
Yeah.
casting and protecting what we love, right? So
Sure.
no
Sure.
bitching, just fishing.
Just pitching, right? Awesome. I'm glad you went back to that. Well, that's good. That's amazing. So thanks again. So thanks to Analiza del Rosario for her time and all of the amazing work that you do to bring people into this industry. Yours is an inspiring story for sure. So thank you for listening, everyone. You can also watch each episode on our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram at Ubuntu Fly Anglers on Instagram and UbuntuFlyAnglers.com on Facebook. You can also message me directly at UbuntuFlyAnglers@gmail.com. So thanks everyone for listening and watching. See you next time. Tight lines.